Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk about all major movie and television news. And today we're covering some of the biggest news we've had in a very long time. That's right, we finally received the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. And today we're doing our Cosmic Culture breakdown. We're going to go through, talk about what we learned from the trailer, and of course cover little hidden things that you may have missed. Also, we were given a few questions from this trailer. Number one, and probably most primarily, why is Godzilla in such a terrible mood? It was mentioned a few times throughout that he is just rampaging through cities, killing people and causing all sorts of havoc, but nobody seems to know why he was upset. So we'll cover my theory as to why I think Godzilla is upset, and of course other hidden details from the trailers. Before we continue, guys, first off, I want you guys to go down and comment how excited you were to see this trailer, what you saw in it, what you took away, questions you might have. Let's get a good conversation going for Godzilla vs. Kong. Also, don't forget hashtag Team Godzilla or hashtag Team Kong. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any major movie or television news that will be coming your way as we cover it here daily. So there was a lot to cover and a lot to go over that was sight unspoken in this trailer, but let's start off by talking about the obvious. The trailer starts and we start off by seeing massive explosions. Now this happens in probably different cities, so we're getting a montage of different explosions. The first one happening during the daytime and the second one happening in a more technological looking city. You can see there's a flash of nighttime. We also see this same attack probably later on in the trailer when Godzilla is running through the city just destroying buildings, and it has that same bright color tones and all of that. So that's what they've started us off with in the trailer, and it looks like what they're setting up in this trailer, the big plot point, is Godzilla is pissed off, he's angry, and he's taking it out on human cities, causing casualties and causing mass destruction. We then move forward to people talking about how we need Kong, and they also say specifically to protect us from what is to come, and this is probably a reference to Godzilla and all of the other hidden factors that we don't know about the movie just yet. But we also now find out that there is an orphan child who Kong has pledged to take care of, and also has the ability to communicate with King Kong. And this is very important for the movie and for the humans trying to use King Kong in the future of the movie to protect them from what we can only assume is Godzilla. We see this little girl and King Kong on an aircraft carrier being escorted through the ocean by an entire fleet. And then after some rumbling and some scared faces, we see Godzilla swim directly through a destroyer ship, causing it to just completely explode. Then we see Godzilla and Kong kind of interact with each other. Kong smashes his fist on the floor and Godzilla arises from the ocean. We then see the same sequence that we've been seeing for a while now with the punching of each other on the aircraft carrier, which a lot of people have questioned the physics behind that. I don't know, but it looks really cool cinematically. Kong gets a good punch to Godzilla's face, and then it appears that he knocks him off of the ship. After the ships drop some type of bombs down onto Godzilla, he charges and shoots a nuclear blast up to the ship, and King Kong jumps off of the boat, and that's kind of where we're at between the first original, what looks like the first interaction between these two in the movie. Now, I have a theory of what may have happened in order to piss off Kong enough to want to fight Godzilla, because I don't think this little orphan child, who has a bond with King Kong, almost a fatherly bond they describe, as they say that Kong has decided to protect this little girl, I don't then see this little girl turning and saying, okay, these military dudes want me to tell you to go attack Godzilla or whatever it be, so go ahead and do that now. Her top priority is going to be protecting Kong, just like Kong's is going to be protecting her. And here's where my theory comes in. Either at some point throughout the movie or during this same scene with the aircraft carrier, this little girl is going to get injured. Maybe very, very badly injured, or maybe even die. I don't know how dark they want to go with this movie, but that is going to be the reason King Kong is so angry at Godzilla. Not just because this little girl said, hey, these military dudes want me to tell you to go fight this guy, go for it. I don't think that's enough motivation for King Kong to go in and get involved in a huge fight with Godzilla. But instead, the motivation coming from the harm and bad injury coming to this girl who he has fostered, this, however, will be enough to motivate King Kong to go and fight Godzilla. Now, that's a personal theory and it could turn out to be completely wrong, but it seems to make a lot more sense than, hey, the US government needs you to go fight a bad guy for them. The remainder of the trailer gives us the rest of these little tiny hints and things for us to look forward to for this movie. The entire first half of this trailer sets up that plot point of how Godzilla and Kong get into connection, what's going on with Godzilla, what's going on with Kong, but now directly after the aircraft carrier scene, we see a man talk to another man saying, "These are dangerous times." Then directly behind this man, we see this technological board, all technology standing there, and a specific sign that says System Charged. And you can see behind System Charged the feet of Mechagodzilla and the body of Mechagodzilla standing right there. I'm sure we can confirm through this and other parts of this trailer where we get glimpses of Mechagodzilla that Mechagodzilla is going to be involved in this film somehow or another. Now, I have another theory on this, and that Godzilla is actually pissed off because of Mechagodzilla. He's aware that they're creating it. He's getting different seismic activities from different facilities that we see on one of these discovery boards, which we'll break down in just a moment. Then we hear Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why. The biggest question of the trailer. We also see him in that same illuminated, cool looking, futuristic dark city with all of the lights on the sides of the building, causing a bunch of mayhem. Following this, we see a discovery board. Now, we love discovery boards because they are always chalked up and covered in hidden Easter eggs and a lot of different things you have to read to figure them out. So let's talk about this for just a moment. On this board are all sorts of sticky notes, newspaper clippings, and different articles that are helping them solve the question, what is wrong with Godzilla? We see different attack points and places and facilities that he has gone in intact, including cities, apex facilities, government buildings. We also see in the bottom right corner a question that says, what is Godzilla's connection to Apex? So in trying to figure out what is wrong with Godzilla, we can assume one of a few different options. One, he's pissed off about Mechagodzilla because it's unnatural, it doesn't follow the rule of the Titans, it's a celestial eternal law that they follow, and it needs to be destroyed, and that is his goal. He's going to go through to all of these apex facilities, these government buildings that have agreed to do it, and he's going to destroy them and wreak havoc until he gets his way, and that is the destruction of Mechagodzilla. Two, it could be the involvement just naturally and in any form of the humans in the Titans world, in the Titans rule, and everything that's going on with that. We saw this heavily in Godzilla King of the Monsters, how he was upset with how people were involved and how humans kept trying to stick their nose into everything going on with the Titans, and that became a huge issue moving forward for that film. So it could be a replication of that, and Godzilla's just sick of humans being involved in everything, and he's making that well known. And then the third other reason is we're not going to be able to really know what's pissing him off until the very end, and it's going to leave us on a cliffhanger, which will then lead to future MonsterVerse films. Both Warner Brothers and Legendary have talked about this film as really the kicking off starting point for the future of the MonsterVerse. And although to us maybe it seems like a huge finale from Skull Island and King of the Monsters, it is actually a huge turning point, a pivot for the MonsterVerse. So there are going to have to be some references, some Easter eggs, and some cliffhangers for things that will be happening in the future, especially if this is the pushing point movie for the MonsterVerse going forward. We also see on this same discovery board, down towards the bottom right hand corner, UN vetoes Godzilla. Now, that could mean one of two things. One, a proposal to capture Godzilla and use him for Earth's defense, or the UN vetoes Mechagodzilla. The Godzilla robot could be the ending of this article. We don't get to see it, and the UN has decided that this is a bad idea and it needs to not happen. Obviously, the UN's veto is not going to be enough to stop the creation of Mechagodzilla, as he is going to have a pretty prominent role in this movie, it seems like. Then the next scene, we see Millie Bobby Brown's character making a return and talking about something that is provoking Godzilla that we aren't seeing. Now, we're assuming she's talking about Godzilla here. She could be talking about Kong, who is also going to be in a terrible mood shortly after the beginning of this movie, as they are going to go head to head in a huge Godzilla vs. Kong movie. But let's just assume for what we have so far as information's sake, she's talking about Godzilla. And this brings us back to the same question that this trailer gives us. What is it that is bothering Godzilla? This next scene that we get is very, very interesting, and they refer to the myths and how the myths are true. We see Kong maybe back at Skull Island, where he sees a few different things that get him ready for what we can assume is his big final showdown with Godzilla. For starters, he sees his handprint or a handprint of a similar creature to himself on a rock, and then he picks up what we can call a mythic tool, a mythic weapon that he's going to use to defeat Godzilla. And the reason I refer to it as mythic is because it has the ability to control Godzilla's nuclear blast. Now, there is a lot of question always about the roles of these titans and these monsters, how they fit into the universe. Godzilla has always been referenced to as the king of the monsters. Well, perhaps it is Kong's job, or the creature in the role of Kong, to keep Godzilla in check, as sort of a checks and balances, if you will. And these tools that he has and these myths that are referring to are all in reference of that job that Kong has and that he's going to have to perform in this movie. After all of that takes place, we hear the words, "There was a war and they're the last ones standing," which may be reference to a earlier movie of Godzilla vs. Kong that came out, although I find that unlikely. More likely it's in reference to a separate time that Godzilla and Kong had an argument, had a fight rather, in this universe, and it left total annihilation to the planet Earth. All that was left was Godzilla and Kong after the first time they had a fight. And that's something that needs to be pretty daunting moving forward, as Godzilla and Kong are preparing for their next battle. Now, that brings us to a heavily argued part of this discussion of this trailer is, does Godzilla or Kong actually die in this movie? A lot of people are ready to argue that there's no way they're going to kill Godzilla or Kong. And then there's a lot of people that argue saying one will fall, which has been plastered over all of their posters, is in reference to one of these two characters are going to die in this movie. Now, based off of this trailer, if one was 100% going to die, I would say it's probably going to be Godzilla, just because he's the unprovoked kind of monster looking in this. However, we don't have that many plot details to make a definitive statement on that. Also, I don't know that they would permanently kill one of these two characters. More likely, they're going to be defeated, and it's going to look like they're dead, and then 3 or 4 episodes, movies rather, from now, they'll make an appearance again, and it'll turn out that they were okay, and they just went to heal, and all is well. But I definitely probably believe that they're going to want to make it appear as one of these characters definitely dies and meets its end, or as they like to put it, will fall. And then we get the final sequence where we see a few different fights between Godzilla and Kong, which is good because that means there isn't just 1 or 2 that's going to happen. There's at least 3 or 4 now, based off of the cities we see that they are fighting in and the different atmosphere around them as they fight. But it looks like the biggest fight goes down after he has already gone back to Skull Island, he's received his mythic tool, and there is a huge fight going on in this dark Tokyo looking city with all of the lights and all of the technology already there. And we see that as Kong jumps in the air holding this mythic tool, and he deflects a nuclear blast and pushes it all the way back to Godzilla. And I would say that's somewhere near the final battle for these two, because he has his tools and there is a huge city dwelling argument and fight between the two characters. So that is also extremely exciting to see, and if that final sequence does not get you excited, well, then maybe you're not going to be watching the right movie. And of course, I talked to you guys about sightings of Mechagodzilla throughout the trailer, and the most prominent one is at the first 3 seconds. You'll see a group of people running down a stairwell between 2 buildings, and behind them you will see the metal robotic head of a giant lizard. Now, this is Mechagodzilla 100%. You could not convince me otherwise, and he's very, very, very openly right there above them, running through a city. Now, whether he's terrorizing it in order to go protect it from Godzilla and Kong fighting, or just Godzilla wreaking havoc, we'll have to wait and see. But that is a very, very prominent sight of Mechagodzilla in this trailer, and it actually happened in the first 3 seconds. Now, it was very quick. You have to have a pretty quick eye in order to see it, but a lot of you guys already have seen it and commented it earlier on in the original trailer video that we dropped. The last thing for us to take away from this trailer is a little bit of potentially bad or sad news. At the very end, when it says Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters and HBO Max, it just says 2021. It doesn't say a specific release date. So it is possible that this movie will not actually be coming out in March or May, and that they're still expecting to experience some kind of delay. That's, for me, the only reason why they wouldn't add a specific date in the trailer, because they want people to know when it's coming out. so people will pre-order tickets, go subscribe to HBO Max, and have all of that ready for the viewership of this movie. But it wasn't in this trailer anyway, an exact release date, so it is possible that we will see a readjustment yet again. But for that, we'll have to stay tuned and see what's going on. As of right now, the movie is meant to be coming out March 27th. That was the latest news we got and the latest release date information that we got from Warner Brothers and Legendary. But guys, that was a full trailer breakdown, a lot of news, a lot of thoughts and theories, of course, of what might happen in Godzilla vs. Kong. Let me know what you thought about my theories. Let me know some of your own theories and what you thought about the trailer. Don't forget to use hashtag Team Godzilla or hashtag Kong so we all know who you're rooting for. And as always, thank you to everybody who watched till the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all major movie and television news that we're covering right here daily on Cosmic Culture.